right, welcome into today's Dropping Dimes. I'm your host, Matt Nost, and I'm joined by fellow NBA diehard returning guest, a man for all seasons, Mr. John Flannigan. How are you?
Good. The new season.
The new season is upon us, man. There's been some excellent games so far. I've enjoyed the season. I think at this point I've watched at least every team once.
Wow.
Yeah,
I tried watching a couple teams. I had to stop.
There are some, like Minnesota is not fun to watch.
I think it was like Atlanta Knicks or something. There's some game I just like. It's the only one that was on at the time, and then I just it was rough.
Yeah, Detroit's not that much fun to watch unless you want to see Jeremy Grant shoot as many times as he touches the ball.
Especially on NBA TV. Oh, sorry. Especially on NBA TV when it's like their home announcers. Like there's some bad callers in some of these small markets.
Still, though, I would take it over listening to Marv Albert and Chris Webber now, but Marv especially, man, there are times where he doesn't know what he's watching. So it's just like, I don't like you're calling out a player that I don't believe is in the league anymore.
At least he has the voice.
Yeah, he's got the voice, but it's like it's disheartening because Marv has been the voice of the NBA for our lives. And now it's just like, oh man, you should really hang it up. It sucks. But so to start off, the most intriguing team, the one that I probably watch more than any other, and now that they've just added the newest edition, which is the Brooklyn Nets and the blockbuster James Harden trade. Just initial thoughts. What are your thoughts on the trade in general?
I was originally thinking this trade is overrated. Like people are like, one, just because I watched them the night before, and Jared Allen he was a pivotal role in that game that I just watched. And then the next day he's off the team. And I was just literally thinking, I think I was texting you about another game actually, but I was flipping back and forth. And I was thinking, this guy is he's their staple. Like they need him for like playoff time. And then they get rid of him the next day. So I don't know. I was thinking it was overrated, but then after seeing the result of like Harden, and Durant, it was like a video game, on rookie mode. I still don't think they can win a championship like this with this team playing this way, but they're going to be the best team in the East and the most fun to watch.
I mean, they gave up a lot. Jarrett Allen, it sacrificed tremendous amount of depth, but Jarrett Allen is was their best defensive player, and they already didn't play that excellent. By the numbers, like first few games of the season, they were in the top 10. Just like, I don't know if I really buy that, but now you're going to have Durant play small ball 5. And but like you said, watching the offense is so excellent. Like the first game, Harden was overpassing. Like he had 9 turnovers, but I watched the game and it was like he was trying to force and get guys in essence saying like, oh, I'm not the crab dribble for 18 seconds guy.
See, that's another thing. I'm afraid it's going to fall off a little bit because it's all their egos right now, like to try to prove everybody wrong. No, look, we can be the best, and give it 3 weeks and they're going to go back to their normal routines or whatever. Yeah.
And Kyrie comes back tonight. At least that was the announcement yesterday.
Yeah.
And let's see because there's no way he thinks he's third option, but he's third option. It's Durant's team, and Harden should have the ball in his hands if Durant doesn't, but Kyrie wants the ball in his hands just as much as Harden does. I think it's going to be interesting.
He should just become a spot up shooter is what he should do. That's if he wants to get the most accolades and he'd be the best player on the team. Well, not best player, but he would definitely he would get a lot of points. He would reserve his body. He has the jump shot to do that. Just be a spot up 3-point shooter because they're going to draw the Durant and Harden. You already seen Harden drawing all the defense, and then Durant would do the same thing. He just sticks in that corner or sticks whatever and just catches and shoots a 3. He would get an effortless 20 points every game. Effortless.
It's going to be like a video game with the offense. Like that close out the end of the game against the Nets. Harden shoots the 3, and the defense had to be like, oh fuck, and misses, and they tip it out, and it goes right to Durant. And now you're saying, oh fuck, from the other side, And then if you add Kyrie into that, it's just like, dude, you got 3 and Joe Harris. Like they can all shoot pretty much lights out from 3-point range. I mean, some more so than others. Harden's a 35, 36%, but that's still good. It's not elite, but it's like, I'm curious about the defense long term, but their offense, so long as they're willing to share the ball, man, it's going to be a thing of beauty to watch. I mean, I'm looking forward to tonight's game just to see how they mix in Kyrie, but they will be right now. They're my most watched team. I think I've watched like 5 or 6 of their games so far.
It's insane. It's crazy. I mean, but it's so weird because if you look back at the old OKC, obviously they're all super young, but that team look at that roster. It's insane. It would destroy this team if they were as talented and, smart back then. But it's crazy how that team almost worked. Almost, they went to like a conference finals, right?
Yeah. They went to the finals against the Heat, lost.
Oh yeah.
But they were all 20, 21, and 22. I mean, it was the 3, your big 3, Durant, Harden, Westbrook, and then Ibaka just kind of rounding into early version of Ibaka. And you're like, that's 4 young studs. And now we've got, Jeff Green is now playing with those 2 again on the Nets. So they're kind of getting the band back together a little bit. A lot of people are saying trade, Westbrook for Kyrie, but the Nets wouldn't do that in a million years.
I don't know if that would work.
I don't know either. Plus, do you want Westbrook at his price tag given Kyrie's a better shooter? I think I would take Kyrie.
I mean, they have the 3-point shooting for sure. It's just, if you look at recent history, meaning last season, or in the season before, I guess, but it came down to big guys. I mean, Clippers couldn't get past Denver because of their big guy. Yeah. And then Heat can't get past Lakers because of their big guy. And then they just got rid of their only somewhat big guy. Yeah.
You would just hope that, okay, so in the East, it's Embiid. And then after that,
who's been balling, who's gotten better.
Yes. Technically, Bleacher Report has them number 1 in their MVP standings. Let's see how many games of the 72 he plays and where the Sixers end up by the end of this. But, I'll be intrigued because apparently Simmons got told that he was be on the lookout for a trade. Yeah, the management told him that. So is that going to sow discord within the team itself?
He had an airball 3-point. He's trying to shoot threes.
I saw that. It was almost as bad as Giannis's against, I think that was the Nets, where he missed left of the rim by like a foot. It was just,
I don't understand how this guy, he's so good at basketball, and he just can't shoot threes and just afraid of it. It's insane.
I mean, he could out athletic everybody. It was unstoppable force. It's like asking Shaq on some level for Giannis. Like he's basically a slim version of Shaq who can run the floor.
I'm talking about Simmons, Ben Simmons.
I know that
Giannis will hit a couple from the top.
Yeah. Well, in Simmons, you've been playing on the wing your entire life. You've been a guard. How have you not developed any kind of outside shot is kind of baffling. But I mean, the Nets, now they're going to get somebody who's going to, at the trade deadline or in the buyout market, they'll get somebody.
Who? I mean, they need someone big that plays defense and garbage minutes and rebounds and stuff like that. That can just rebound and pass the ball out.
I would have to assume if the Cavs have dropped out, they've got 17 bigs. Somebody is going to be off of that team come the buyout market. Just has to. It doesn't make sense that they're going to carry that much weight on their salary cap for, Andre Drummond, Kevin Love. Now they've got Jared Allen. And it's just, they're way too deep at one position. I mean, so much so that when Nurkic went down, CJ McCollum, somebody was like, hey, what should the Cavs do with all these bigs? And McCollum was like, give us one. It's true, though. They need the extra, with Nurkic being out, Zach Collins, I think, is out for a little while. They've got injury problems. We can get to them later. But yeah, I think they'll make it up there. Their defense is the only question to me. Their offense should be so much fun to watch.
Unbelievable. It's crazy.
Yeah. But you don't think, as they're currently constituted, they can take down the Lakers or anybody else from the West?
No, I mean, especially not in playoffs, because that's just, comes down to defense. Like I've always said it. If you know me, I've always said this. Playoffs comes to defense. Championships won by defense.
Yeah, it's true.
And I mean, even look at Golden State's years. They've always, obviously, it wasn't big man centric, but they always had a JaVale McGee, a Andrew Bogut, somebody in there. Cavs. I barely count Tristan Thompson as a big guy, but
he played well for them.
Yeah, but aside from Jordan, you got to have something in the middle to do something. Even he had Rodman, half the time.
Well, yeah, and then you had the Bill Winningtons and Will Purdue's and to take fouls.
Yeah,
and just try and slow down whatever the other team was throwing at him.
And Jared Allen was a good future prospect. He was good. He was playing well.
Yeah, he was. No, that one to me hurt the most because it's like, okay, Karis LeVert was coming off the bench and running with the second unit, but at the same time, getting Harden, that's fine. You're going to stagger the minutes of those three anyway. So one of those guys is going to be with second units at all times. It doesn't really matter. Taurean Prince gives you nice depth, especially at the 4. But Jared Allen, it's like, you got nothing. You're now asking DeAndre Jordan to play 30 some odd minutes a game, which is like, I don't trust. DeAndre needs to play 23.
DJ is the man. DJ is Mr. Defense, Mr. Rebound, okay? Mr. Block shot. Except he can't guard a pick and roll, extended pick and roll, and which is what's happened to him.
Yeah, I mean, on offense, it's fine, man. We don't need you to do anything except get rebounds. But on defense, it's like, we need you to at least slow these people down. I would assume they just switch over and have Durant be at the 5, and they go small ball and be like, force anybody. Okay, you have to deal with Durant, Harden, Kyrie, Joe Harris. Pick your poison. They all shoot well. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they just got to be like, okay, hey, look, we'll trade 3s for 2s. We just got to make sure we're hitting that game.
Yeah,
every game.
I mean, hopefully they don't go the way of the Rockets and just huge valleys missing 3 after 3 after 3 when it comes late in the playoffs. But it's going to be tough for any team to match their offensive firepower. I don't see anybody in the East being able to do it. So perhaps somebody else's defense in the East will be able to step up and slow them down.
Matter of fact, I think they are going to destroy some of these teams in the East, like maybe not so much the Sixers, but definitely like Milwaukee, when they're sitting here thinking, okay, we're making progress. This is going to be our year. And then this trade happens now. No, you're going to be third banana now. I mean, you're going to, not even that, you're going to get blown out. Like if they go head to head against New Jersey, I think. Well, I mean,
it was a 1 bucket 2-point game the other night.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. I mean, wait till they get rolling. Once again, I also don't have it's like a 50-50 shot if Kyrie's going to end up being on the team by the end of the year or even playing in the NBA. You don't know what's going to go on with that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as much as I think Stephen A is a blowhard, I was agreeing with him last week and be like, man, this is fine if you want to go off and protest and do other stuff. Just retire.
Yeah.
Don't collect your 30 some odd $1 million. And he got fined. It's like $950 for the games that he missed.
I honestly don't know if he even, I mean, obviously he can help if he does his role, but I think he can hurt just as much. I don't necessarily think I think they can be the 2nd seed without Kyrie ever playing a game with them, to be honest. 2nd or 3rd seed. It's in the East.
Yeah, I agree. They could hypothetically make the 1st seed without Kyrie. They could. Right now, they're Harden and Durant. It's just like, all right, hey, you're going to score 40 tonight, and I'll score 30. And then they flip flop, and the next night it's like, all right, you're going to score 40, and I'm going to score 30. It's like, what do you do with that, dude? You got two dudes that can easily drop 35 a night.
Yeah,
that's disgusting.
It is, but I wish that because how much talent all 3 of them have. I wish that they just played ball like Golden State style, like played good basketball. Like, because imagine Kyrie handling the ball or James Harden, and then the other 3 just making cuts and just passing, and it's like it would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. If they could go to some sort of motion offense where they're just constantly running around,
It'd be Golden State on steroids because they're twice as athletic as anybody on the Golden State team would be.
Yeah, I mean, Golden State has the advantage of Clay and Steph are better shooters.
I mean, when like say Durant was on the team, you know, like Golden State back then, but on steroids, it's crazy.
But then you've got, you have three guys that are more than happy to shoot the ball in the clutch, which is rare. That all have confidence and think that it's going to go in, and you believe it. At least as a guy watching, it's just like, yeah, I'm fine with all three of those. I prefer it to be Durant as my number one option, and then Harden. But at the same time, Kyrie's hit massive clutch shots in the past, so it's sick. Yeah, if they could move to some sort of cutting, let's do screens, drag screens, pick and pop, like try and take advantage of the fact that nobody can match up with all three of our guys at the same time. And if they even try to, we still got Joe Harris over there. Mm-hmm. It's like, that is sick. I really hope they take advantage of that. We'll see. They do have depth issues. But,
I mean, I hope just for entertainment value, just for as a fan, as a consumer, I hope that they make it to the finals just to make. I mean, like as good as the Heat actually were fun to watch, which I was surprised about when they made it, the Heat. But the finals I did enjoy watching last year. But if it's a New Jersey versus Brooklyn, versus whoever, it's just gonna be that much better. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I still say New Jersey like 25% of the time. Even though they've been Brooklyn for a while, it's still, yeah. If they would change from the Nets, I think my brain would have better not saying New Jersey a quarter of the time. But anyway, as a quick aside, somebody over in the chat asked Celtics or Philly tonight. Who you like?
Philly. They're on a roll, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. They're just playing a little bit better basketball. Although once again, the Simmons almost getting traded. Is that going to have some sort of effect in the short term?
But he went and balled out once that. It's like he was like trying to prove, hey, don't get rid of me the day that the rumor happened or the next day.
Yeah, but I agree. I slight edge to Philly. But anyway, moving on. So we'll go over to the West now. You have basically three teams at the top now that Utah has joined the discussion. But everybody's choices are Lakers and Clippers. Lakers are in first by a half game. They've got 11 wins to the Clippers 10 and Utah is 10. Yep. Right now, can any of these teams unseat the Lakers in your opinion? If playoffs started today, do you have any team favored over the Lakers?
I want to say Clippers, and I would hope the Clippers, and just especially because how Paul George has been playing, which is what we expected and needed him to do last season and last playoffs. But if you look at the
playoffs,
exactly. But if you look on paper and the stats, the Lakers are just one. Lakers they're averaging 116.5 points a game. Clippers 115. You know, they're just that 1 point better. Field goal percentage. Lakers are. What did I write down? I think 49%. Clippers are like 48.7, and so. The Lakers are just that tiny bit better, which they seem to be when you watch them play also. LeBron, I think Clippers could get them though, because if they're playing how they're playing now and they don't fall off like they did last season, I think Clippers could have the best chance. Just because, and people hate when I say this, but LeBron is old. He's slow. He doesn't jump like he used to. And he has the will and the drive, and he still tries to put everything on his back when I don't think he can necessarily handle it. If he doesn't, it's up to the other players.
Okay. Look, I think LeBron's just gotten to a different stage in his career. Like a week ago, they played Memphis, right? And Memphis gave him a game. And this was without Jaren Jackson. This was without John Morant, and all these unsung heroes are giving them a game. And then it really seemed, though, by the end of it, that the Lakers were coasting, especially LeBron, until it was like, all right, we need to win this game. And then he just turned it on. And I think that's what LeBron, he's actually taken his minutes down a little bit, which I still think he needs to take his minutes down even a little bit more. But I think he's just gotten to that point of, with this team, okay, we've won a championship. The regular season doesn't matter as much.
Right.
Let's get to the playoffs, and the playoffs are all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, they turn it up a notch. They shift a different gear in the playoffs for sure, especially LeBron. But I mean, what was the team? What was the game I just watched the other night that they lost, where he shot the last shot and it wasn't like a step back.
Oh yeah.
Lead.
Rimmed out was Golden State.
Yes, yeah. Golden State came out. I mean, like they blew a lead and they lost the goal, but like even that, LeBron
lead.
Yeah, and LeBron had a chance to win that game when he shot. It was, he's clunky now, which.
Look, I'll believe it in the playoffs when I see it. I don't want to count him out, and I'm not some LeBron stan. Although I do respect the guy immensely, but at the same time, it's like I want to believe that Father Time is going to catch up with him for Christ's sakes, because he's, we're not that far apart in age, and he's crushing 22-year-olds. But at the same time, he seems like such a fucking anomaly within humanity that it's hard for me to bet against him still.
I mean, like. Caldwell Pope has been killing it for them. AD's been killing it on both ends of the court. Like, I think it's not on LeBron anymore, and that's what I'm saying. And so it seems more feasible to dethrone that team when there is no king necessarily, when it's more on the rest of the team.
Throwing some fucking shade, man. Throwing some shade. The bulletin board material.
I mean, I called 2 years ago when Tatum blocked him and then dunked on him. I was like, times is changing, and that was 2 years ago. It's already been 2 more years.
Yeah, but at the same time, he still has won a championship in the interim. And my biggest fear for the Clippers is your defense is not good right now. You're giving up too many fucking points.
Ibaka's been doing all right, better than.
But Kawhi does not look like the elite perimeter defender in the league anymore. It just doesn't. It seems like he's devoting his time to scoring, and on defense, he's just not trying near as hard.
Yeah.
And if you don't have him out there, because that was the selling point of him and Paul George, nobody's going to be able to score from the wing. And then, hey, just get some interior defense, and it's going to be impossible to score on these guys. And right now, I think you're like mid to late teens as far as defensive rating within the league. Your offense is top 3, top 2.
Yeah.
But your defense is just, I don't know. It is suffering to a degree that I didn't think a Kawhi Leonard team would do. Although, who knows what he could be coasting just as well, just like LeBron.
Yeah, it's weird because like I look at them and the Lakers and how they're so well matched and like except for like there's little intangibles like say a Caruso versus Kennard, like they're very similar. They averaging about the same 3-point percentage and things like that. I love Kennard on the Clippers, but I really love Caruso, period. And his hustle and his defense is that a little bit different. The Lakers are just that little bit better in every single category, every single stat. It's crazy.
Yeah. Caruso looks like the guy that you want to play 5-on-5 with. Like if we were playing pickup, just because it's like, okay, we don't need me to score this game. We need me to play defense. I'll play defense. Mm-hmm. I don't need to do this. This team lacks this. I will do my best to fill in the gap there. And you're like, that's awesome.
He brings energy to the entire team just by him, intercepting a pass or diving on the floor.
Exactly. It just, I can't wait though for if you guys do meet in the playoffs and just Trez is out there and the offense is just going to run at Trez.
We handled him last time.
No, exactly. It just, Trez, you want to pout on your way out? Suck a dick, man. And they just drive it down his throat every fucking possession.
Such a great game last game. And we handled him. I remember Ibaka, I think, blocked them, and then someone else dunked. It was great. And then after the game, they asked Paul George about something. He's like, "What do you say?" Oh man, it was a diss, but without like saying his name or anything. They asked him about like somebody. He's like, "Oh, well, we just don't have that in the locker room anymore," or something like that. We just don't have those people in the locker room. Something I don't know. It's crazy. It was great.
That is going to be fun. That little subplot of. Trez is gonna play. Guess what, buddy? Pick and roll. Here it comes. Good luck. And you're like,
he's been playing better for them than he played for us, also.
But it's we'll see how that plays out full long term. He's still a defensive liability just because he's undersized going up against. Once again, if he's out there against Nikola Jokic or any other dominant big, it's like, can you at least slow him down, please? And if they can't, it's like, all right, well, then we got to keep AD out there for longer stretches. And I don't know that you want to do, or pardon me, Gasol. And Gasol's older, but I don't know. He gives the offense a different complexity. Gasol does, just better passing. Defensively, like, athletically, he's never going to compete. Let's say your Dwight Howard's of the world, but at the same time, he knows positioning, he knows where to be, he knows guys' tendencies. I just think he brings a higher IQ and helps them overall. I love the addition of him and Schroeder. I think that was Schroeder. I thought was great, and he's going out to be good for them. Oh,
It's so weird. I mean, it's so crazy now. It's almost like you have to have a small guard and able to just to be able to guard the other small guards nowadays. Like it's like the new like Steph Curry changed the whole dynamic of NBA. But then you still need the big guy, is what we proved last playoffs as well.
Well, yeah, you can't. The old axiom of the NBA: you can't teach height. Just like if a dude is huge, like Rudy Gobert would not have gotten his $200 million contract if he wasn't obscenely tall, because what other fucking skill does he really have? I mean, I'm not denigrating the guy. He's an amazing defender. But at the same time, it's just like, dude, if you were 4 inches shorter, you would not be in this league. So
no.
Height can make a hell of a difference. I mean, my question with Utah, so they're in the discussion right now with, the 2 LA teams is, all right, come playoff time, is Bogdanovich going to be a real second fiddle to Mitchell? Because when they devolve into the Mitchell, we need you to do everything, that team stagnates. And is Mike Conley finally rounding back into being formerly what Mike Conley was to some degree? And can Bogdanovich stay healthy? They have a lot of question marks, but at 10-4 right now, they look pretty legit. And if you go by the numbers, their offensive defensive ratings put them in the top 10 for both, categories.
I don't see them. I'd see them doing exactly what they did last playoffs last season. Honestly, I think Dallas is going to be better in the playoffs, and I think Denver still is going to be just as good.
It's weird though, man, because I like Denver. Before the season started, I picked Denver to win the West just because I was like, they're younger, they have more to prove. I thought they were going to do it last year too, but then pandemic and everything kind of went haywire, and they've been weird. Up and down. Jamal Murray, though, after that renaissance in the playoffs, he's reverted back to, is Jamal Murray that good? It's like, I didn't think that was going to happen to this degree. I mean, he's had games where he's put up like 4 points, 5 points. Like, dude, you're supposed to be an all-star. So, yeah, and then Jokic started the season off really weird, but they're getting back to full health right now, so let's see what they actually really are with the full complement of players. But, yeah, I don't... It's the Lakers to lose in my eyes at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be so good, but honestly, Dallas, who, God dang it. I wish I remember the person. Dallas, who did they get? They have a big guy who is, oh my God.
I mean, they just got Porzingis back.
No. This is like new to the team, not Porzingis. Because I was thinking like, hey, he's kind of like playing like for Porzingis basically, or when they both come back, they'll have like more depth because he was doing well.
A big that they picked up. I mean, Maxi Kleber's back, I believe. I hope I didn't just screw that up. Boban, but Boban's been with them.
No, yeah, not Boban. I was just watching the game there, and I was like, hey, this is a good little roster person for them.
Yeah. I like that they got what's his name, formerly of the Heat and the Sixers, and I'm blanking on his name, 2 guard, but I think he fits better with what they do. I mean, Lucas started the season kind of cold, especially from 3. I think he's shooting like 27, 28% from 3, which is not good. It's not like he's elite, but at the same time, he's 4 or 5. Yeah, 4, 5, 6, percentage points lower than what he's averaged his first 2 seasons. So if he's going to be shooting at 27, 28, it's just like, then we don't need you shooting threes, and that really cuts down a lot of your effectiveness, which is stretching the floor. You find that roster? Who are you talking about?
Yeah, hold on.
I mean, I could pull it up.
Picture the play. the play I was looking at. I remember like he got a baseline pass and just dunked, and it was like, oh, that's exactly what they need him to do.
All right, I'm pulling up the Mavs right
I'm
now.
pulling up right
Who gets to it first? That's the real question. It's a race. I mean, Tyler Bay, Jalen Brunson, Trey Burke, Willie Cauley-Stein.
Willie Cauley-Stein, yes.
Okay, they've had him, but yeah.
But he's but he's been playing a little bit more because of Porzingis has been out and whatnot, and and I was like, that's just a great just good depth. Like he's great off the bench. He's like he's easy offense, and it's great. And he's a little big guy that I think would help in the playoffs a little bit.
He's gonna have a longer career than I thought. When Sacramento took him, it's like this guy seems so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But if you can be elite at that one dimension, you can stay in the league for a long time. But yeah,
he was playing while Porzingis was out, and I was like, well, when Porzingis comes back, this guy's just extra. He's just extra, extra 10 points or extra 10 rebounds if they need it, on any given night.
But I don't see Dallas really making waves in the playoffs as of right now. And, Denver, Portland's got injuries galore.
But those guys will come back by playoffs, though, for Portland. I think Portland can hang on until then. They're not going to lose their spot in the playoffs, I don't think. Matter of fact, I think Dame and Lillard's going to just end up averaging 38 points a game right now because of what's going on.
He needs to. He really needs to, man, because losing Nurkic and then McCollum, it's like, oh, great.
McCollum, McCollum was averaging 26 points a game. Like, you can't, then with the bench, with the people they have, that's 3 players to make up for that, basically.
Yeah, they'll need their really thin depth. I mean, Covington has been not good for them. But
they all been shooting like crap. If they all shoot better.
Yeah, Covington and Gary Trent Jr., Carmelo, they just need all those other guys to start to make up. If they can get 6-7 extra points apiece from those 3 guys, it's like, okay, we can weather the storm a little bit. But they're already just dog shit on defense. And I don't maybe putting in these lower down the bench guys, they'll be able to be spark plugs on defense as opposed to offense. And Dame, it frees up Dame to score even more. I don't know.
I mean, he's going to be smothered, but yeah, he was 3 for 10 from 3-pointers last night or the last game. So it's like you got
not good.
He shot better, but they all are bad. Covington was 1 of 5. Ronnie Hood was even worse, and so it's like if that's not going to be every game. I think Dame is he's going to have some breakout games for sure if his shots are going in. And I think I think Covington, Ronnie Hood, they all will play better.
We'll see. I mean, so Portland needs to hold on when Golden State and Memphis are just a half game back. Denver's 1 game back. Dallas is a game and a half. And then you still have lurking below that New Orleans. Will they round into shape? Quite possibly. I mean, Zion's been playing really efficiently the past couple games. But they need to hold off the surge from Denver and Dallas. And, we'll see if San Antonio is going to maintain this pace. They're currently sitting at 5th in the West. But it's asking a lot of Portland when you're that thin to tread water because CJ is going to be gone for 4 weeks. They'll reevaluate as they go along, but he's got a hairline fracture in his foot. So the only thing for that is rest. And then Nurkic has a broken wrist and he's out. I think it's minimum 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So 2 of their 3 best offensive players are now sitting for a month to 2 months. It's going to be brutal for them.
I mean, they got people that can score though. It's just like if they spread it out, it could be it's just they haven't been. Like Gary Trent Jr. last game, 1 of 9. That's not what he does. He scores.
Well, yeah, if the bubble is who he is, he can score.
Yeah.
But he also declined his extension, betting on himself to go into free agency this year. So he is motivated to make better than 1 of 9. I think you definitely get a big rebound from him, knowing that he needs to be the offensive punch, or at least part of it. But man, I'm worried about them. I'd like to see that. I like them in the playoffs. And if this goes badly over the next 4 weeks, especially with McCollum out, it's like this is going to be a tough mountain to climb back from.
Yeah, poor Damian Lillard. He's never had an easy go. Not one year.
Yeah, never. It's always been an uphill battle.
Oh, he's good. This is going to be his year, and then just not good.
Yeah, something works out against him, and it is unfortunate. But
it's his contract up. How come he doesn't try to leave?
It's a good. I think it's he is now the face of that team, and they love him. He loves being there, type of thing. I don't know.
Clyde Drexler went to Houston to try to get a ring. Come on.
Yeah, eventually, when he was old and no longer Clyde Drexler, really. So it's possible at that point. Just like Karl Malone went to the Lakers and Gary Payton went to the Lakers, like you could do it, but I think Dame's going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
So CJ McCollum is more likely to get shipped out. If it goes bad this year, it'll be another offseason of they need to split this up.
He was playing really good. That's messed up. And then before you got hurt.
If only they could stop anything on defense, they would be a legit, thorn in a bunch of teams' sides. But their game plan is going to be what the Nets is, and they don't have the firepower of the Nets. The Nets defense is not going to be their strong suit, but they'll be able to score 150 points a night, which will be intriguing come playoff time. Just like you said, defense wins championships. It does. So
offense gets the girls.
Yeah, chicks dig the long ball, man. So it'll be tough, though. I mean, that one's going to be interesting to see if the old adage of defense winning championships holds true for the Nets, because they got a shot. They definitely got a shot. Well, let's segue over to, I think one of the more surprising things for me this year has been the number of rookies that I think are legitimate. And when I texted you and saying, hey, is there anything you want to talk about, after I floated you like, I'd like to hit on these topics, and you're like, let's talk LaMelo. So yeah. I'll open the floor to you. Go ahead, get us started on what have you liked, disliked, what about LaMelo?
Southern California prospect.
Sure.
Like every good athlete comes out of Southern California, like myself included. He Chino Hills. I lived in Chino for quite a while. Played basketball there. The Parks, Diane Taurasi style. He's one. It was crazy because everyone was talking about how bad this draft class was, or how not bad, but just like, there really isn't no one great. Even the fact that LaMelo is going like one of the top prospects, going number 2 or whatever. It's like, oh, how good is this draft class? And then not only Melo, but Weissman's killing it too. James Weissman's he's going to be great. He's been playing great I think he's a great fit for Golden State. And they're talking about, they should trade their pick. But LaMelo's. Did you see the pass from where he went base? It was insane. Baseline cutter. It was great. I mean, not just that the one hand. He's Jason Kidd, but way more athletic, way taller. This is the last 3 games. He is 11 points, 4 assists, 5. No, I'm sorry. This is a triple double he had, the youngest to ever have a triple double. 22, 11, and 12. The 2 next games, 14, 11, and 6, 11, 4, and 5. Like he is what I like about basketball. I do it all. I make my team better. And that whole team is playing better just because of the way he plays basketball. I think you want to make a cut. You want to hustle because you know that guy's going to get you the ball. You're going to be rewarded for it. And that's versus, like, say, we've been talking about, the Harden and Kyrie and stuff. And I love it. He's young. He's good looking. He's on the Hornets, which was one of my favorite teams back in the days with Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson.
Oh, yeah. I've tried to get some Grandma Moss shirts over the past 5 years. They're tough to come by.
That's what. Speaking of, I had to make my own. Okay, so I had the Dream Team shirt when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to try to find that same shirt now, like someone recreated or something. And there wasn't any. I got one. and the graphic was it was like they just took a screenshot and used that as the graphic for the shirt.
Yeah.
I got my money back. It was so bad. And so then I had my friends like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna recreate my own. And then as I was about to do it, I realized, wait, if I'm making my own, I can make my own Dream Team whatever I want. So I made a comedy Dream Team shirt. But this is based off the '92 Olympic Dream Team shirt.
There you go. It's a thing of beauty.
So you just got to make your own Larry Johnson grandmama shirt.
True. And trust me, I can send you links of good replicas of that Dream Team shirt if you want.
They look better. Trust me, they look better online than when you get it. It's not.
Okay. There's one company that I know makes good ones.
Really?
So I can send you. Yeah. They may. I've seen them in person. I won't buy it because it's just like the originals are out there, and if you just look hard enough, you can find it for a good
price. The originals are so torn up or boxy and shrunken.
Yeah. Trust me, I've been looking for years for one that is my size by my measurements and is not obscenely priced. It's tough. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, it's like $130 or something for like little one, or $300. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. There's all kinds of them. It's just like, oh, I love that shirt. You want how much? Get the fuck out of here.
I want the old. I had the same shirt. I want remember when they used to make t-shirts that was based like a basketball card? It's like the front was like Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, I had that one.
Yeah, I want that one again. I had that in black. I loved it.
Yeah, I had that one in white. I think that was a nutmeg, if memory serves. Yeah, at one point in my life, I just owned 20 Michael Jordan t-shirts, and those are the t-shirts I wore. It's like 4 years span of my life.
All that stuff is like collector's items now, worth so much, and we just wore them outside and played them.
I sold them all at a garage sale when I was in high school. It's like, I don't need these anymore. Oh, you're holding the mic cord again. You're cutting in and out. Yeah.
Back to LaMelo. He's great.
He is. I will say this. I was not expecting anything. He has been much better than I expected. My biggest fault with him is there's only 2 seconds off of the shot clock and you shoot a 42-foot three just because
he's been getting away with that for the last 4 years in high school, and then he didn't even go to college, so he has no discipline.
Yeah, and he's been playing against taller kids his whole life. So it's an area where people aren't going to defend him, so he can get a shot up. And that's the only time where I'm like, I don't know, but come on, man.
I hate it's like he jumps like he just jumps so with his legs will go backwards behind him. It's so dumb looking.
Yeah. He's got to work on his mechanics, but at the same time, his brother's mechanics have gotten better since he's been in the NBA.
Yeah.
So you would imagine LaMelo's mechanics will get a little bit better.
I never thought he would be better than his brother. I was a fan of Lonzo. I saw him play in college one game, and I was like, "Wow, this kid's good. He's smart." I loved it, and I never thought LaMelo would come out and be better than him. Which I'm not saying he is now, but I think he has the potential to be way better because he's basically just as smart, just as good of a passer, but bigger, maybe more athletic. I don't know.
Well, Lonzo's got him beat on defense.
Mm-hmm.
LaMelo doesn't play any defense. In the New Zealand league, he was dead last in pick and roll.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, the sample size was like 13 games or something, but still dead last in pick and roll. So, and the NBA, that's why I was like, how is this guy top 3? Like that? No defense. So basically he's tall and can pass, and we're going to take him top 3, but shooting 34% from 3 right now and 40-ish overall. Not bad. But at the same time, has helped push the Hornets into relevancy. I was expecting him to be terrible. Just like, you know what? He's outside of Hayward. He's probably the second best player, most consistent on this team. I like him better than Rozier. Devontae Graham's been a little bit up and down from what I've seen, but solid. I mean, but this rookie class overall, Halliburton looks good. I like Wiseman, Avdija on Washington. I like him. Patrick Williams on the Bulls. I like him. Like, there's a surprising number of rookies where I'm like, this dude's legit. He'll be in the league for a while.
It's crazy how I was just actually thinking this the other day too. I was watching, I don't know what I was watching, and I was like, the games, and there's like, it seems like everyone is either 19 years old or almost 40. And like, there's not, and it also seems like everyone's an all-star. Like, I remember like there used to be so many role players. Like, used to like, no, every team had 1 all-star, 2 if you're lucky, and that's it. And then there's just journeymen. And now it seems like there's a starting five or all-star, or they could be. Like everyone's so talented offensively mostly, but it's crazy to me. And young.
Yeah. I think it's a function of once you get to a certain point, you can take up 33% of the cap. So it's cheaper to keep these young kids as opposed to paying a bunch of vets the minimum or just in. Yeah. So why eat up your salary cap with those guys when you can invest in youth and go out and get proven talent? That's why it's the disparity in age. But it's like watching football and it's like okay, you have a quarterback who's 43 surrounded by a 22-year-old receivers and running backs. It's just like, okay, well, you make choices and you need it. So it's like the Lakers, they've got, although they're a little bit more varied than a bunch of other teams, but yeah,
yeah. But like, it didn't seem like they took from all other teams, they're like, okay, these like 30-year-old, like not all-star players, like these role players, and made a good solid team out of it. But every team is like, there's like people I've never even heard of, and like they can go off for 30 if they got the opportunity to.
Oh, well, and some of these young guys are proven, like Maxey on Philly. He's proven that he could score with the best of them. And that's got to be so good for them because they just need the extra offensive punch. Mm-hmm. And it helps take the pressure off of Simmons. We don't need you to score if we got another guy over here that can do it from the wing. And then it helps alleviate the pressure on Tobias Harris. Like, there have been a number of rookies. I thought this was going to be one of the worst classes, a la the Oladipo draft when Bennett was taken first overall. It's like, okay, and there's like Nerlens Noel, and there's only a couple guys in that draft that were worth a shit. Whereas this one's like, I don't know, man. Edwards on Minnesota, as much as they're terrible, he looks promising. Precious Achua, however you say it, on Miami, he looks good. Like, there's a decent number of rooks that I didn't think I'd be saying this 15 games into the season.
Yeah. And LaMelo is number one right now. LaMelo, and then Weissman right behind him. Imagine Klay Thompson with them. I
know. If Klay was out there, then right now, I think the Warriors would have a genuine shot at making the Western Conference Finals. I believe that. I don't know about making the finals, and I don't think maybe winning championship, but
no.
Fucking A. If you have Klay and you've got Steph, and Steph looks like he's fully back to being Steph again, which is great. Draymond looks good again. Wiseman, it's just like, okay. And then Wiggins and Oubre, you're coming off and running with the second unit. It's like, dude, this team would be disgusting. Mm-hmm. And thank you to Josh over in the chat. It's Josh Richardson, who's now on Dallas, who's been playing well for them. I couldn't pull it earlier. I appreciate that. And is your brother in the chat, Jay Flanny?
I imagine that's him, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's just, interesting if it's not. Somebody just copying your style, man.
No, I'm sure it is my brother. His name's Jason, so makes sense.
Was there anything else about LaMelo or the Rooks?
I hope he doesn't. Like, I feel like he needs to be with veteran players or a veteran that can keep him in line, Okay. So I just hope that and I don't see Hayward being like the father figure type of guy on the roster kind of thing, So I just hope that he stays grounded and continues to get better and grow versus get caught up in your own hype and the NBA and this and that, especially knowing, where he comes from with his dad and who knows what.
Yeah, although, that being said, Hayward is almost like he's on a revenge tour against the injuries and the narrative that's been with him for the past few years.
This last week or two, oh man, especially with LaMelo passing, he's
it's
slashing and dunking on people. It's crazy.
He's back to, there's the dude in Utah that Boston thought that they were getting.
Mm-hmm.
And lights out, putting up numbers where you're like, there we go. That's what we like to see. Averaging low 20s, but at the same time, doing it pretty efficiently and doesn't seem to be like forcing it. It's not like it's one of those empty calories where it's like, oh, okay, sure, but how many shots did you take? It's like Kobe's last game. It's like, yeah, he got to 60, whatever. It's like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure he took 70 shots.
Yeah.
So it's a nice story, but if you watch the game, it's like it wasn't really that exciting to watch until the end. Whereas Hayward's was like, no, it's not like he's forcing this. So they could be something, and some of that credit has to go to LaMelo. And I didn't think I'd be saying that this early on. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought him up because we haven't really talked about the Brooks, but let alone
Jason Kidd, man, Jason Kidd, but who can slash and dunk, and finish at the hoop.
Yeah, hopefully he ends up with the same kind of basketball IQ and longevity of career, because it'd be a testament too.
I mean, Lonzo had. I remember watching Lonzo at UCLA. It was one game, and I was like, because my mom was a teacher in Chino School District. I lived in Chino at the time, and he went to Chino Hills High School right there, and so my mom had told me about this kid. Like, there's a kid's really probably like a year before, and then I started looking into it and reading the newspaper, and then went to UCLA game, and watched him when he was there, and I was like, this kid knows how to play basketball. Like, just seeing him, how to pass, where to be, knowing where the person. And LaMelo has that same IQ. They're brothers. They played on the same teams, have the same coaches. So, and he's a little bit bigger, a little bit longer. He's getting more rebounds. He's gonna be great. And Jason Kidd never had a shot, so he doesn't necessarily need a 3-point shot. But I think he will develop one just because you have to nowadays, and that's where the emphasis is. So he get his shot better, and he'll be great.
Yeah, who knows how well Jason Kidd would have fared in today's game. And I'm not saying he would have been, bad, but you need to be able to shoot from outside. That is a prerequisite. So the balls are kind of anomalies at the point guard position. It's really rare when you hand the guy the keys to your offense that can't shoot from distance anymore. So it's just so strange that they've been playing basketball this much and they developed the mechanics to shoot the ball like that. It doesn't make any sense to me when you've been guards your entire life, especially Lonzo's. His is even when he came in, it was gross. It's gotten better. It's still weird, but just how did you shoot like this for so long?
Honestly, though, I do like a little bit. Like, I remember like when I was a kid as a baseball fan, like people who had a weird stance or swing or like routine, like those stick out, and I like those. So like their shots, I kind of like them, like because it stands out to me. I'm like, I like that they have a little niche, their own little thing. But
there's a great during his rookie season. There's a great video from Gilbert Arenas talking about how he would guard Lonzo and why his shot is such a problem. It's like 25 minutes long, and there's so many things where you're like, I never thought about that. And he's like, watch this. Okay, pick and roll. He does this. This is how I defend it. And you're like, yeah, you probably get him 70% of the time. He's like, okay. And then on a shot, he chooses to do this. So all I got to do is this. And just like that little hitch and then swinging it around your hip, man, that just opens you up to easy defense over and over and over again. You're like, yeah, that's super interesting. Whereas he's kind of thankfully, through repetition and work with coaches, is facing a lot of that out. I just hope that LaMelo's isn't as bad. He does tend to float and he doesn't square up when he shoots, but I would say getting rid of mostly those 37 footers for no fucking reason at the start of a shot clock, especially when you don't have rebounders down there. It's like, that's not good. But at the same time, the guy is in the NBA. So what the hell do I know? It's easy to sit here Monday morning quarterback it. When I wouldn't have the shot to be the ball boy,
Well, I just hope they get like a big guy, like, like can catch lobs, like someone's just a high flyer guy. He can pass lobs too. That would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It was one of the things when the Pels got Zion and early on, it's just like Zion was boom, no problem. I can grab, you want to throw it 90 feet? I will grab it and dunk it from the air. And Lonzo was like, I can play with that guy. And they hooked up on a number of them.
That's why, like I was telling you with the NBA TV, how they block some of the games out and just pisses me off. But then, like, that's fine. I'll watch the Pelicans and then now the Hornets. I've been looking at just because I want to watch those players. And I won't be able to get the Laker game here and there or the Clipper game always, but I'll watch those games instead.
Yeah, but there are other teams that are intriguing. There's only a handful that I will force myself to watch again as the season goes on, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and New Jersey now, which that's for hopefully they'll. Do they schedule the televised games at the beginning of the season, so now New Jersey doesn't have as many nationally broadcast games, but when they should now,
That's a good question because with the NFL schedule they can flex. I know they have done that in the past, but they do announce. Although that being said, they've only technically scheduled the first half of the season because they wanted to build in a buffer because of Corona.
Yeah.
So second half of the season, we could end up getting a boatload more Nets games. But there's already been quite a few national Nets games.
I just want them on TNT, on like a Tuesday or Thursday.
It'll happen. Don't you worry. It'll happen. Especially with, Chuck not really loving this team. He doesn't dislike it, but he doesn't love it. So just to get them talking a little bit of shit.
You know what? I find myself rarely ever disagreeing with Charles Barkley on most things.
There are times, his, TNT put out a tweet as soon as they traded for Harden and saying it was Charles just saying, oh, great. The offense is just dribble. And they kept looping it over and over again over clips of Harden and Kyrie just over dribbling. It's like, he's not wrong there, but let's see in 3 months' time if that's what the offense genuinely is, or will they, go to more of a motion and everybody's running and cutting? God, I hope so.
Their coach used to dribble a lot when he was a player.
Yeah, but I think their coach could also recognize the fact that that could be a detriment to this team.
Yeah.
Whereas they didn't have as many guys with ball handling ability on the Suns back in the day as the Nets do now. Yeah, but they should be super interesting. All right, let's wrap it there. Go ahead. Oh, I thought you had something to add right there.
It's gonna be fun. This season has been surprisingly a lot more fun than I expected it to be, especially with COVID and the bubble and all that. The games have been great.
Yeah, the quick turnaround. It has been weird as to which teams have to sit and which teams don't. But I think they'll work out the kinks of that system long term overall. But yeah, I've enjoyed the living shit out of it, but at the same time, you're preaching to the choir. So I was going to watch regardless, but I'm glad it's entertaining for me. All right. Was there anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, go to realgoodcomedy.com/shop if you want one of these Comedy Dream Team shirts. They're great. American Apparel made, handmade in San Pedro, California, USA.
Okay. Good. Nice local American screen printing.
That's right.
You get better quality. I got a shop down in Orange County that I use for screen printing. It's great. Can't beat the quality as opposed to the straight digital print t-shirts that just don't look nearly as good. And that was
Grandma's shirt.
What was the address again?
realgoodcomedy.com/shop.
Okay. Hit them up over there. Pick up yourself a Comedy Dream Team shirt. Let them know the Dropping Dime sent you. Maybe we'll get a kickback, like 50 cents on every t-shirt.
I'll make a discount code. Dropping Dimes will get free shipping.
Free shipping. There you go. Pick up a t-shirt, you get free shipping. Just put in the promo code Dropping Dimes. Pick it up today. And follow him at John Flanny.
Yes.
And dude, it's good to see you.
You too.
And I'm sure I'll be checking back with you at some point during the season.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is it for today's Dropping Dimes. You can follow me anywhere at Matt Nost. Enjoy tonight's NBA action. I'll check in with you guys next week at Wednesday, same time at noon. Until then, have a good week. Stay safe out there, 6 feet apart. Adios.